I'm going to build a strainer. So what we've got is we've got a cat, Maine Coon, 5/8 Maine Coon, and he's a big dude. He uses a lot of litter, but instead of the regular litter you're probably used to, he uses wood pellets. So we end up throwing out a lot of really good wood pellets, and because you throw the whole thing out at once, there's no way to really separate them, because he pees a lot. So what I'm gonna do, is make a strainer. Whether or not it's gonna work, I don't know, but I've got some parts and pieces here that I think is gonna work, and we're gonna give her a shot. So I'll show you what I'm gonna do and what I'm gonna make it out of, and we'll go from there. So this here is a basket that I got from work. With permission, of course. That is no longer used for anything, and that the holes in there are just a little bit smaller than the actual size of the pellets themselves. And then I've got a piece of plywood here, 3/4 plywood, that I'm going to use for the base, and I've got a couple of pieces here of 3/8 plywood that I'm going to laminate together, and I'll show you in a second how I'm going to do that, because they're just scrap pieces, and this thing isn't going to be structural, so I'm just going to laminate them together so that they will work for my sides and end of this little box I'm going to build. And this is how they're going to be laminated. It's just like this. And I'll do make 3 pieces, one for each side, and then 1 piece for the ends. And then we'll see how that goes. So this is how this is going to go. Just cut a bead of glue down the middle there, and lay it down, and laminate it together. So just like that. When that sets, I'm gonna do the other 2 pieces, and then when they're cured for good, then I will show the assembly of putting it all together and how I'm going to cut it all out. So from that to that. As you can see, I do have all the sheets together. And again, I just want to reiterate, this isn't structural, so it's nothing that I'm too concerned with. It just needs to be a box to hold everything together. Worked out pretty well. So that's what we're looking at. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to trim these down, these panels I've got, to kind of fit the basket, get some room underneath there for all the sawdust to fall down, leave the pellets in the basket. So we'll just keep an eye and see how these. So this piece tapers down to the end a little bit, so since I only need them 32 inches long, I will cut this one back so I get the maximum height. That way the basket will sit above the bottom, by about 6 inches, so that I'll have enough room there for all the sawdust to drop down. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to cut this, so we know it's about 32 inches I need, so it's right about here. So it's sitting right about there, so what I'll do is I'll take the maximum I can get out of it, which is about 18.5, so I'm going to rip them all to 18.5 inches wide. So this piece of 3/4 inch plywood is going to be my base. So I only need it 32 inches long. It's kind of a, junk piece. So I'm going to trim it off to my length, and then rip it to my width that I need. Gonna go with a little extra, and then that way I could square it up after. figure. Luckily, I got a couple spares. And the final cut to the final width. I want it 14 inches wide, so I got it at 14 inches here. So our final width, you can see there's still a bit of a split in there, but I'm not too concerned with that because it's just going to be, like I said, for a little project. Doesn't matter how good of a shape this is really in, it's all I got. So now we'll square it up the other way. We'll do another cut to the final length of 32 inches. Okay, final dimension of our bottom of the box. We need to trim these to 32 inches. And again, a bit of a pain, I have a sled, but the sled isn't very accurate, so just going to do it this way. Again, it's the way I have to do it. And actually, I think I'm going to do this a little different. I think I'm going to just do all three at once. Yep, let's do that. So everything's the right length. Now it's got to get it all together. I still have to make the pieces for the ends. Oh yeah, see, that's where I screwed up. Two of those are for the sides, one is for the end, but luckily that's still over 28 inches, so I can still rip one of these for the ends, because so obviously you don't pay attention. So I got to figure out how high I want this thing to sit. So I'm going to put some posts in there for support, so we're going to figure this out shortly, just by doing this. I think it's right about here. So that's 18 and a half to there. Let's say 45 is as high as I want to go to the top of the box. 44. We're going to go with 44. So 44 inches is as high as I want it to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this here. So we've got 18 and a half. 44 minus 18 and a half is 25 and a half. So even though I'm not concerned with that, I've got these here. And again, I'll show you how we're doing it. It's going to be 44 and a half, or 44 inches to the top to the bottom. That's perfect. I got two here. I'm going to rip another 2x4 to get 44 inches. And then we'll put it all together. Always remember to cut on the right side of the line. I mean, it's on this, it's not a big deal, but that extra 16th or 18th or 1/8 of an inch when you're doing a project that is a bit of a bigger deal makes a difference. conventional lumber 2x4 is actually 1.5 by 3.5, so we're going to go right down the middle. Put 1 3/4 directly in the middle of the blade. So we're going right down the middle. Now that I got my 4 posts, I'm going to notch out each corner for these posts. And that'll give me my some stability and some actual structural strength to this thing. So I'm just going to mark these out, cut them out with the jigsaw. We'll go from there. Basically what I do is I'm going to cut exactly where the line is so I know I definitely have enough room. So what I'm going to do, since these are the end pieces and that basket's going to sit longitudinally in there, I'm going to get threaded ready rod. That'll be my center pole for my spinning basket. So before I bolt these onto there, I'm going to actually just cut the grooves out so I can slide this in and out of here. I'm going to do that right now so I don't have to mess around with that after. Now I know that I want that basket's about 14 inches on the outside diameter, or 12 3/4 on the outside diameter. I want to see about 5 inches off the bottom, so I'm going to measure for that and kind of get it so that that basket sits about 5 to 6 inches off the bottom of the bin that I'm putting in. So I'm just going to mark this out and jigsaw it out. Basket's 12 inches diameter on the very outside. So I'm going to measure down just about 6 inches down to here, center it, do both at the same time. So you can see that there will fit right down in there, nice and easy. All I need. get this here ready so it actually fits in there. Watch away, we'll see what we can come up with. Now this basket isn't perfectly round, so I'm just going to trace it out instead of trying to do a proper circle. Just try to get it to fit, and hopefully it works. I don't know, find out. Pretty good. Tricky part's going to be on the inside. I got to get one on the inside. This is moving around. That'll be a little more difficult. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do that, so figure it out in a minute here. So because that's an irregular shape, what I've done was this here. So that nail point and the pencil point is about 7/8 of an inch apart, which is what kind of that lip is on that basket. So I'm gonna try this and just try to get it as close as I can around that edge, and hopefully it works. Okay, so I had to put some hot glue on there to hold everything in place, and we'll see how well this works, which I'm sure probably won't be all that great at all. Let's try it. Don't know if you can see that. Hopefully you can. I don't think it turned out too bad. We're gonna find out. So like an idiot, I never marked it because it's not the proper, it's not a perfectly round shape. So now I'm not really exactly sure where it goes, but not the end of the world. Figure it out. screw kind of in the center. That way I can see if it's actually going to fit or what. There we go. Take off those right here. And of course, doesn't fit properly. Why would it? Anyway, we'll work on this and see if we can get it to work. There we go. No fits, more or less. So now we just got to find center on this thing and continue on. Okay, so next round is going to be putting the basket together with the lever and just seeing how it works.